Hey everybody, Beth Helvey with Couture Real Estate. How are you doing today? It is June 2nd and it is Wednesday. I thought it was Tuesday. I think a lot of people did with the holiday. I hope you had a wonderful long weekend. I want to talk to you today about assessed value versus market value. And this is the reason why. I was speaking to a buyer that's going to be coming down later this summer. And this person kept saying how prices were up by a great amount. I mean, granted, prices have gone up, but the amount this person was saying just didn't ring right. So I dug in a little bit more, and this person was looking at the assessed value versus the asking price or the market value. And this person was comparing the assessed value to the market value, as in the assessed value is its actual worth. That's not the case here in Florida. Now, I know in some other states, your assessed value and your contract price or your list price are going to be really similar, and I get that. That's not the case here. The case here is the assessed value is only the amount that you are being taxed on, okay? So, and you're not taxed on contract price. You're not taxed on list price. You're taxed on a lower amount than that. Rule of thumb is it's about 80%, roughly 80%. It's different for every region. And you take that 80% and then the taxes are based on that amount. Now, granted, there's other discounts you can have, which we'll get into in a minute. So when you are comparing those two prices, especially if you get into a higher bracket, 20% difference is more and more and more and more. So you have to take a look at that. Don't let the assessed value compared to the asking price let you assume that the price is greatly overpriced. Okay, so one of the things we're going to do is when you're looking at the assessed value and your taxes, people will call me and say, "Hey Beth, what is the tax rate in Sarasota?" It's like, well, where are you going to be? There are millage rates by which the taxes are actually figured out. It's the way we figure out the taxes is not necessarily what you're going to get from the Sarasota County tax assessor or the Manatee County tax assessor. There's more into it than that. However, millage rate does play a part in this, and the millage rate is different in different areas. The closer you get to the water, the higher the millage rate. The further away you get from it. There's areas like Lakewood Ranch that may have a higher millage rate. There's areas out east that may have a lower one. Condos are different, so it's all different. So I can't say that the tax rate is X percent in all of Sarasota because we don't have that sort of regularity, and that is also throwing people off. Now let's throw in Homestead. Homestead is a big old monkey wrench in this. Homestead, if you claim Homestead, which means you claim this as your permanent residence, and you live here at least 6 months and a day, then you can take up to $50,000 off of your assessed value, and then you're taxed on the remainder. If you are a disabled vet, if you have certain disabilities, you can have an additional amount taken off. I mean, I hear stories about certain disabled veterans who pay very little to no taxes because of how the tax system is set up here in Sarasota. So if you do that, that is going to throw you off as well, because what will happen is you're going to be looking at a neighborhood and you're going to see houses that are roughly the same size, same age, you know, they all have a pool or don't have a pool, and the taxes are going to vary greatly. And here's why. There's a 3% cap year over year on your taxes. So if your neighbor at 123 bought 15 years ago and homesteaded, their taxes are going to be more suppressed than 124 that bought 2 years ago and homesteaded. Okay, so the homestead cap actually will keep your prices, keep your taxes down. That's one of the reasons why we try to kind of figure out what your taxes are going to be, but you'll find out what they are the next year. Here's something else. We pay our taxes in arrears, which means that when our tax bills drop here in October, November, we're paying 2021 taxes. If you buy a house in 2021, you're going to pay the remainder of those 2021 taxes. Come 2022, your property is going to be reassessed. And I promise you, in this market, you're going to be reassessed. And then in October, November of 2022, you're going to find out what your taxes are. Okay? And even if you homestead, even if the person from whom you purchased it didn't own it for very long and also homesteaded, I would pretty much expect that your taxes are going to go up. Maybe not a lot, but they're going to go up. Okay, and that's basically how we do it. The properties that are purchased in 2021, everything's going to get reassessed. I'm sure of it. They're all going to get reassessed, and you'll find out what your taxes are. Then you throw in portability. Portability is another giant monkey wrench. If someone is moving from a property in Florida to another property anywhere in the state of Florida, they can take some of their homestead amount with them to their next property. And this throws some people through a loop, because if they do that within the year that they sell the property, by the time your taxes drop in 2020, in October, November of 2021, you're going to see the change because that person removed the homestead. So if your homestead is removed during the year in which you bought the property, your taxes will be higher than the stated amount on the MLS or when we pull the tax records. I know I probably just confused everybody, but the nuts and the bolts of this is this. You cannot judge the asking price of a property based on the assessed value. The assessed value is always going to be lower. It's always going to be suppressed. And it could very well be suppressed because of homestead and how long that person's owned it. Okay? So if their assessed value, if their property was bought 10 years ago, their assessed value is going to be really, really low. And if they're selling it now, they're going to make a really good amount of money. If they bought it 15 years ago, it's going to be a huge difference between the assessed value and the asking price. So when somebody calls me and says, Beth, there's a $100,000 difference in this. Yeah, there is. They bought it 15 years ago and their assessed value is suppressed. And that's how this works. When you buy your property in 2021, you will be reassessed. I promise you that. Your taxes will go up in 2022. You can work with me, your agent. You can work with your closing agent. You can call the Sarasota County Tax Assessor, and you can get a rough idea of what your 2022 taxes are going to be, especially if this is all part of your budget, which for a lot of people it really is. And then you will homestead, because I'll remind you around the holidays to homestead. And then you'll have that 3% cap. So then your taxes will be lower over the years than your neighbors. I probably confuse a lot of people, but just remember that when you're looking at an assessed value of a property and then you're looking at the asking price, don't get too caught up in comparing to those two things, because there's a lot of reasons why they're different. And there's a lot of reasons why each house on that same street, even if it's one of our neighborhoods where they're all the same, they're cookie cutters, there's a reason why all the houses are going to have different tax amounts. So don't freak out. The best thing you could do is call me your realtor, and I will help you figure it out. And I can explain to you why 123 is one rate and 124 is another rate. Okay. If you have any questions, throw it in the DMs. I've threw a lot of information at you, or send me, or put it in the comments. Either way, that works for me. And I can send you some information on this. And I will pull up some articles a little bit later today, and I'll post the links in this video so that you all can refer to those links as well. I hope you're having a great day. If you have any questions on real estate, please let me know. I love hearing what you all have to say, much like my gentleman here with the assessed value versus the contract price or the asking price. But throw them in the comments or send me a DM. I'd love hearing what your questions are. If you have the opportunity to get outside today, I encourage you to do so. We're going to have some rainy days. We're going to be cooled off a little bit at the beginning part of the week. But if you do, it's still going to be around 80, 81 degrees. I encourage you to do so. Wear your sunscreen, drink a lot of water, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.